back to another reading. And if you guys are new here, hi, my name is Astra. I am an intuitive tarot reader and I do tarot readings here on my channel. Today I am back with the members Q&A. If you guys don't know already, I do have this membership where my members get to participate in this monthly Q&A and get to ask questions about their favorites or anything else. So if you guys are interested in also being able to participate and ask questions about your favorites, I will have the link of the membership down in the description below. But other than that, let's get started with the questions in today's Q&A. So first question we have here is, do Afra and Mert Ramazan have feelings for each other that they cannot express? Okay, so let's take a look. Do Afra and Mert have feelings for each other that they cannot express? Do Afra and Mert have feelings for each other that they cannot express? Okay, so when it comes to Afra and Mert, I'm honestly picking that there is definitely some sort of feelings that they both feel that haven't completely disappeared, okay? I feel like that there's definitely emotions, but there is a lot of heartbreak as well that sort of covers that up, okay? And even if they sort of are not really on the best terms right now, I do see that there is some emotions involved that they both feel for each other that is not that hard to get over for when it comes to the two of them, okay? And so yes, there is certain emotions and certain feelings that they still have for each other that they sort of are trying to avoid, and they're sort of not really expressing because they don't want to sort of act on what they're feeling, and they do not really want to be that open when it comes to each other. Right now, there's like this sense of heartbreak. There is this sense of wanting to be careful how they act around each other. They're not really able to be open right now because there are certain barriers that right now are built, okay? And there is specifically one of them that is sort of wanting to be very practical when it comes to the two of them and wanting to sort of move forward and look to the other direction, okay? They sort of are giving the other person their back right now. They sort of don't want to show the other person that they sort of care for them somewhere in their hearts still, okay? And so there's like this big sense of like moving forward and sort of wanting to be careful with every approach when it comes to the other person, okay? One person may still think about the connection, but like I said, they're very logical in a controlled way, and they're specifically like choosing to not show emotion even when they feel their emotion deep down in their heart, okay? And so there's also signs of pride that I'm picking up, that they want to show the other person that they're a certain way, that they're moving forward with their life, okay? And they want to seem confident, okay? They don't want to show that they're vulnerable when it comes to the other person, all right? So I'm definitely seeing that something from the past lingers for the two of them, okay? But right now they're sort of both trying to move forward and focus what's in front of them, and they do feel certain memories and they do feel certain emotions, but they're sort of trying to keep those inside their hearts and not really trying to show it to the other person because they feel like if they show it, that's a sign of vulnerability for them, okay? All right, they still care about each other deep down, but like I said, right now the energy is sort of showing that there is a lot of things that are bigger than the emotions that for them is more important right now, okay? Next question, could you please share some insight into Afra and Mert's current energy and where they are in their cycle together? We would also love to know what's Afra's current feelings for Mert and what is Mert's current feelings for Afra, despite the distance between the two of them. Okay, so let's see. What is Afra and Mert's current energy and where are they in their cycle together right now? What is Afra and Mert's current energy and where are they in their cycle right now? Okay, guys, so like I said previously, when it comes to the two of them, the connection to them, still there's like still hidden emotions that they feel inside their hearts, because like I mentioned, it's not that easy for them to just delete caring about each other, or ignoring what they felt for each other, because there is a lot of emotions that they have felt for each other for a long time. Okay, and so right now it's not like they view the other as meaningless. It's not like the feelings that they once felt right now are meaningless or have fully disappeared. Okay, there is still some bit inside of their hearts. Okay, and so right now, yes, there is a period of distance, there's a period of silence, and a period of them having a deep reflection, and so there's not really active progress, honestly, right now between the two of them. Okay, but there is like this strong pull that they have for each other, that they feel like it's not that easy to let go of their connection. Okay, and so right now there is emotional and physical distance, but I feel like deep inside that also creates a sense of frustration, because there is specifically one of them that, even though there's like a period of distance and silence, they still sort of tend to think about each other and think about the what ifs and the possibilities and all of that. So even though there is that, they cannot let go of thinking and trying to understand and trying to think of the other possibilities. Okay, and so that person does feel trapped by the situation and by their own thought, and so even when that person tries to move forward, or they feel like it is hard to move on. Okay, and all right, and there definitely has been misunderstandings when it comes to the two of them, and hurt feelings and conflict, and that is why their connection is the way that it is right now. Okay, alright, so where are they in their cycle together? It feels like right now they're sort of like in this transition phase. Okay, they're not at the beginning, but they're not at the final end either. There is still not this ending that I'm fully seeing, where they feel like they exactly told each other that, okay, we're over once and for all. Okay, it does feel in a sense that one of them might think that, okay, maybe this is the end for us. Okay, I'm trying to move forward in my life, but I'm still seeing that it's not the final ending either right now. Okay, it's a period of separation right now between the two of them, and through that they're reflecting and learning as well. Okay, but I also feel like there is this period right now where they both are sort of pushed to face unresolved emotions and gain a different perspective before the new chapter can unfold. So right now, when they're separated, they're learning things on their own, and that can sort of help them understand if they want something next when it comes to their connection or not. Okay, all right, so you also asked for each of their current energies toward each other, so I'm gonna check that right now. What is Afra's current energy towards Mert? What is Afra's current energy towards Mert? One more for Afra. What is Mert's current energy towards Afra? What is Mert's current energy towards Afra? Okay, guys, so when it comes to Afra, there's still like this part of her that still feels like the connection with her and Mert mattered at a certain time of her life. Okay, she does acknowledge that she once saw their connection as something super beautiful. She saw a real future between the two of them with the 10 of Cups. Okay, but at the same time, she does appear to see that the connection between them sort of has burned, and there has been a lot of negative things that came when it comes to the bond. Like, it wasn't really healthy, especially at certain points of the end, and it's not that easy to build the connection they once had. And so right now she is at this place where she does feel like she is trying to move forward with her life. Okay, all right, and because she is working on herself, she sort of does want to sort of create emotional distance, because there is sort of like these thoughts or these emotions that still linger inside of her, and so she is sort of trying to move forward to sort of cover up what she's feeling, and sort of she's trying her hardest to let those things behind her, okay? And so she is trying to move forward, but there is sort of like this sense of confusion of what she truly wants, okay? Like I said, her heart wants something and her mind wants something else. Now when it comes to Mert, I do see that he does still see Afra as someone important, someone that he does wish that things would be stable, and someone that things would grow well with, okay? But he does acknowledge that there is a lot of things that do come in the way of that. And so I do feel like he sort of is the one that sort of thinks about the possibilities, things about what went wrong. And I feel like sometimes things replay in his head over and over, especially maybe at night or when he's alone. There's like sort of like these conversations between the two of them that sort of replay in his head and sort of haunt him sometimes, okay? And so I do see that he does still have pain from what happened, okay? And a sense of him still carrying past wounds of what happened between him and Afra, okay? But I do feel like even though he does feel that way, I do feel like there's like a sense of him also wanting to be hopeful when it comes to his life, and, you know, wishing that maybe there can be an opportunity for the two of them, okay? But at the same time, he doesn't want to put way too much hopes up, but he's just at this point where he's hoping for a new opportunity or a different chapter someday, even if nothing is really happening between the two of them right now, okay? So I hope that made sense for the two of them. Next question is, how do Afra and Mert feel about the current relationships or connections? Are they happy with the people they have by their side, or are there still emotions, memories, and feeling that connects them to each other? Okay, so let's see. How do Afra and Mert feel about their current relationships or connections right now? How do Afra and Mert feel about their relationship and connections right now? Okay, so I do see when it comes to the two of them, I feel like one of them is trying to embrace a new chapter and look forward for their future when it comes to their life and new connections that they have, okay? I do see one of them feeling some sort of happiness, and they do feel like that right now they're sort of maybe heading towards a stable or fulfilling life, okay? And that person does seem to be thinking more logically and emotionally right now when it comes to the two of them, okay? But I do see, like I said, that that person isn't able to fully erase the past, okay? There are still memories or lessons from the past that sort of remain important for them, and so they're not fully able to let go of the past of the other person, okay? And then the other one I do see is more focused on moving forward and building a stable future of themselves than sort of connections right now, because they do have a lot of options when it comes to connections, okay? But they sort of honestly find it hard to trust every single person. I do feel like one of them has felt betrayed by a certain someone that they sort of tried to build a connection with, or they felt like that person they tried to build a connection with has become someone that is seeking attention from maybe media or wants publicity or all that. And so one of them finds it hard to build connection with just anyone because they feel like sometimes they can be used, okay? And so they sort of do not feel the happiest when it comes to even building relationships, because they find it short-term and not really easy to trust any sort of person, okay? But are they both happy with people currently by their side? I do see that there is potential for them to find satisfaction and stability with their current lives, okay? Like, I don't see a big impression of either person feeling deeply unhappy of where they are right now, but like I said, there is a sense of being cautious about, you know, which people they involve themselves with, okay? But they both haven't fully moved over the past, okay? That still is something that lingers inside of both of them, but they both are different in how they sort of move forward with their lives with those emotions with them, okay? All right, so I hope that made sense. next question is, how is Mert Ramazan? Let's see. How is Mert Ramazan? How is Mert Ramazan? How is Mert Ramazan? Okay, well, that's a lot of cards. Okay, so when it comes to Mert, I do feel like that he's trying his best to sort of move away from heavy or tiring things that have sort of been involved in his life, okay? So he's trying his best to move towards a calmer or more peaceful ground when it comes to his life, okay? I do feel like that he still has some sort of leftover disappointment, and sometimes he can focus on things that didn't go the way that he hoped. But I do feel like that he's trying his best to be more idealistic, more open, and he does want to be open to new things and creative possibilities in his life, okay? And he does want to sort of follow his heart more when it comes to things that he's doing, okay? And so I do feel like he's sort of going through this like personal check-in or a wake-up moment. Like he's reviewing his path and getting ready for a clear chapter in his life, okay? At the same time, I'm also seeing that there's an awareness of feeling somewhat weighed down or restricted by certain pressures or third people, keeping their eyes on him, okay? Like certain expectations or old patterns that sort of he needs to be careful when handling, okay? And so he does feel like that sort of can burden him or weigh him down, okay? But overall, I do feel like he's choosing to leave behind what no longer feels right and is slowly shifting towards something more meaningful in his life, okay? Okay, next question is, how are Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's finances and relationship? Okay, so let's take a look. How are Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's finances and relationship right now? How are Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's relationship right now? Okay, so when it comes to Meghan and Prince Harry's relationship, I do honestly see that it hasn't been an easy relationship for them. I do feel like that there has been a lot of heavy moments when it comes to their relationship, where there has been certain situations where almost broke their marriage and things could have went downhill for the two of them. And I feel like that is involved with a lot of different aspects. There isn't really a specific reason for that, okay? But I feel like they always choose to work things through and find a middle ground between the two of them and talk things out, and they keep going. But I feel like there has been a lot of moments where have been heavy for the two of them, and they chose to build things instead of just let their marriage fall apart, okay? And so I do feel like financially things look fairly stable, okay? It doesn't feel like they're like really struggling, but it also doesn't feel like money is just flowing effortlessly for the two of them, okay? There definitely has been moments where, you know, they could have stressed about, you know, how the money's coming in, or certain situations where maybe they lost money or stuff like that. So the money isn't flowing effortlessly for the two of them, but you know, it's not like they're fully struggling at the moment, okay? I do see that they both are focused on building security and thinking long term rather than taking financial risks, because I do feel like financial risk could have possibly happened before for the two of them, okay? Okay, and so I do see one or both of them being careful with spending, or prefer saving and holding on onto what they have, okay? That their money sort of improves when it comes to when they both put consistent effort and hard work, okay? Like, it's not like their money just comes in without them having to do anything. They definitely have to put in effort, and the money, that's how like their money sort of comes in, okay? And definitely there have been conversations and decisions about finances that help them sort of both get on the same page, okay? Like I said, what keeps their marriage going is that them having conversations and being on the same page is pretty important, okay? And when it comes to the relationship, on the other hand, okay, they do have care and emotional connection in their bond, okay? It's not like their marriage is emotionally empty at the moment, but I do see sometimes one person feeling emotionally dissatisfied, or like feeling that something can be missing, even if their relationship sometimes is on the same page or it's stable, okay? So one of them can sometimes hold back their feelings instead of saying exactly what's on their mind, which can sometimes create periods of distance or can create miscommunication. So I feel like after a while they sort of have learned to be on the same page regarding that, okay? But right now I do see that the relationship does look steady, okay, rather than like a big problem happening right now. But it feels like they're sort of taking things one step at a time, okay? They are learning along the way still, okay? All right, so I hope that made sense. Next question is, did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry really visit King Charles recently to make amends because they are having financial issues? Okay, so let's take a look. Did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry really visit King Charles recently to make amends because they are having financial issues? Okay, so there definitely does seem to be an attempt to reconnect or work things out with King Charles that I'm seeing over here, okay? I do see that the energy is showing me that there is one of them that sort of wanted to clear the air and have an honest conversation with King Charles, okay? In the past, I am seeing that there is like signs of pride or complicated dynamics, so it didn't feel like this move was an easy move when it comes to the reconciliation, okay? And so I do feel like one of them sort of has felt stuck or under pressure, which could have motivated reaching out. I don't see in the cards that they only did it because they needed money. It was definitely sort of something because they wanted to rebuild things and make things better, okay? And they wanted to sort of clear the air. Like, I'm not saying that it's really involved with money, okay? I do feel like maybe finances could have played some sort of role, okay? But if it was, it could have been one factor among like several, okay? It's not the whole reason why they did that, okay? Because I do feel like there's a lot more emotions involved than it really being about finances, okay? But it definitely was more about resolving issues and improving communications between two parties, okay? They want to sort of rebuild the connection, okay? Rather than it just being about financial help, okay? Next question, Nick Robinson and Zoey Duchess. What do they think of each other? What do Nick and Zoey think of each other? Okay, so when it comes to Zoey and Nick, I do see that there is like some sort of importance that they sort of do see in each other, okay? Like it's not like they sort of see each other as just someone casual that they know, okay? I do feel like that there is like a big sense of mutual respect and admiration between the two of them, okay? And it feels like this thing has grown for a long time, maybe years, okay? And so I do feel like that this connection does feel emotionally meaningful for the two of them, okay? Because I do feel like there is like some sort of history that they have, and so I do feel like there is like a sense of them sort of genuinely appreciating each other, okay? And I do feel like that they genuinely value each other's personalities and strengths, okay? And they do admire the other person for who they are, not just like what they do, okay? And I'm seeing that their bond has definitely grown over time, all right? And I'm seeing that they have definitely become more comfortable with each other over time. I feel like maybe earlier there could have been some sort of misunderstandings or awkwardness into them sort of having like a deeper understanding, all right? But they definitely enjoy being around each other, and they get happy whenever they get the chance to see each other or do something together, okay? At the same time, I am seeing that the energy isn't completely straightforward when it comes to the two of them. I'm seeing that one of them or both of them can sort of still hesitate or overthink or be unsure about how they sort of reveal to each other emotionally, okay? I do feel like there is one of them that sort of quietly observes the other or pays attention to little things, okay? And so there can be things that are not really said out loud between the two of them, okay? All right, but definitely I feel like emotionally, I feel like there's one of them specifically that sort of manifests something when it comes to the two of them, or wants something to happen deep inside of their mind, okay? But I hope that made sense. Okay, Jung Haein has come under criticism for his public support of Kim Soohyun. How close are they, and why does Haein continue to support him despite the dark controversy in which Soohyun found himself embroiled? Okay, so let's take a look. And how is the bond between Jung Haein and Kim Soohyun? How close are they? How close are Jung Haein and Kim Soohyun? On how close are Jung Haein and Kim Soohyun? Okay, so when it comes to Jung Haein and Kim Soohyun, I do honestly see that they do seem to have a bond that goes beyond just like a normal friendship, okay? I do feel like that there is like a sense of history or trust or a sense of loyalty that the two of them sort of have between each other, okay? And so I don't see that Jung Hae-in's support is something that was impulsive. I do feel like that it is something that he's thought about carefully before deciding where he stands when it comes to that situation, okay? And so I do see that Jung Hae-in can believe that there's more to the situation, more than is shown publicly, all right? Or that he sort of prefers to sort of make up his own mind rather than follow what the public opinion is believing in, okay? And so I do see that there is signs that he might feel some sort of compassion towards Kim Soohyun, especially if he believes that Kim Soohyun is sort of carrying a sense of burden, or he sees or has talked with Kim Soohyun about the situation behind the scene, okay? And so at the same time, I don't feel like the connection looks carefree. There is definitely a lot of stress and sense of feeling tied up that I'm picking up over here. And so there's definitely awareness that the situation comes with consequences, okay? I also feel like that Jung Hae-in try to sort of balance loyalty with doing what he sort of believes right, okay, rather than he just acted out of emotion, okay. And so I do see that their bond does appear to have gone through challenges of their own, okay, but I don't see that their bond is completely broken at the moment, okay. There is a lot of signs of patience and waiting before making the final judgment. Like, I do feel like there was like a sense of going back and forward of what's right and, you know, sort of weighing things out, okay. But I do see that there, at the same time, there is like firm boundaries, okay. I do see that there's like a sense of one of them feeling that supporting someone doesn't necessarily mean with agreeing with everything they've done, okay. But all right, but despite whatever is happening regarding the two of them, I do feel like their connection did have like a sort of foundation that Haein wasn't fully ready to walk away from, okay. Next question, Haein and Hayoung current energy. Some fans are calling for boycott for their upcoming series due to Haein's support for Kim Soohyun. And what does Hayoung think about all of this? Okay, so let's see, what is Haein and Hayoung's current energy, and what does Hayoung think about this situation? Okay, so when it comes to Haein and Hayoung's bond, I do feel like that their connection is still there. Like, I don't feel like this situation have sort of made them distance each other or sort of their connection falling apart, okay. I do see that they can still work together and have a great bond and understanding, okay. At the same time, I do see that there is a lot of pressure that they're both feeling from the outside noise and all of that, okay. Like, the situation is definitely not simple for the two of them right now, okay. There is definitely a lot of mixed emotions that they both are feeling and feeling uncertain about things, and they're not sure how things are going to turn out, okay. But I do see that both of them are sort of trying to move forward even with this thing happening around them, okay. And behind the scenes, I do feel like that there could have been some sort of conversations regarding this that they sort of had behind the scenes, okay. But I do see that their bond overall, when it comes to working together, still is okay, but it's definitely being sort of tested with this sort of situation. Now, when it comes to what Hayoung does think about everything, I do feel like that she sort of is trying her best to take a thoughtful and balanced approach than sort of reacting emotionally when it comes to this situation, okay. She definitely sort of does feel concerned about the situation, to be honest, and certain pressure that she sort of is getting. There's like a sense of her like wanting to just stay more focused on her work and the responsibilities in front of her, okay. And I do feel like, honestly, this does bother her, okay. But I feel like that she can be sort of this personality where she's like, as long as I put my work into this and I did my best in this project, I am happy with myself. Like, at least I did my part, okay. And so I feel like at the same time, I do feel like that she is trying to understand the situation from different angles instead of sort of trying to form a strong opinion regarding someone, okay, and to keep things professional rather than sort of cause drama or say anything. But I do see that there definitely can be some sort of worry when it comes to the project and how everything could affect the project, okay. But like I said, she's not letting that sort of define her experience, okay. She sort of is hopeful that things can sort of settle down so everyone can move forward, okay? But there's like a lot of energy of her being patient and just hoping everything turns out well, okay? Next question is Jisoo and Kim Hyeyoon. Are they friends? Are Jisoo and Kim Hyeyoon friends? Are Jisoo and Kim Hyeyoon friends? Yeah, so when it comes to Jisoo and Kim Hyeyoon, I do feel like that they do seem to have a genuine friendship over here, okay? Or at least like a genuine potential for a strong one, okay? I do see that their connection definitely feels warm, caring, and I do feel like that it's definitely built with a lot of mutual respect that they both have for each other, okay? And I do see that they, whenever they're around each other, there is like a lot of comfort, and they do have like these personalities that just get along naturally, okay? I do feel like there's like a lot of sense of emotional support over here when it comes to the two of them. There's a lot of kindness. I do feel like there is a point where they probably did come together or work together here with the Eight of Pentacles, and I do feel like maybe one of them was sort of stressed regarding something, or had a little bit of worries, or felt like they weren't doing something right, or they were just a little bit anxious regarding something. I do feel like one of them came and was just comforting them and being there for them, and so I feel like from that point on they just looked at the other as someone very kind and really supportive, okay? And so I do feel like that they both at the same time sort of can be more private when it comes to their feelings, okay? So the friendship may not always be the most expressive, or where they would tell each other secrets or stuff like that, but I do feel like that it's definitely a connection that has potential to develop into something strong overnight, okay? And I do feel like that's what happened so far, is that they definitely have learned more each other, and their friendship has grown slowly, okay? And I do feel like that sometimes there is periods where they both could have responsibilities or busy schedules or outside pressures, okay? But the bond itself doesn't look weak, those things sort of have stopped them from communicating, okay? But definitely I'm seeing that they both have healthy boundaries when it comes to their friendship, okay? And so they do not really share everything, but make signs of fondness and positive memories that they both share. And so their connection to them does feel comfortable and familiar, okay? And again, here with the Fool, I'm picking that there can be new opportunities continuous when it comes to their friendship, okay? That it does feel that their connection can grow, then fade over time, okay? But I do feel like they really view each other as bright and easygoing and friendly, okay? And I feel like that they got close together over time, okay? And if they did work together, I do feel like that they did get closer while working together, but you know, they just felt their personalities just clicked together, that they just kept continuing their bond over time, okay? And that's the Q&A. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the members that participated in this Q&A. I really hope you guys enjoyed the reading on your favorites. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this Q&A. If you guys liked it, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!